hold the brake until they... There we go. Why you... Well, that happened. I was actually expecting to see this full, but... don't know what's going on here. Guess we can fill this up, or at least do this bit. That's really weird. I'd love to know where the tractor went to get itself stuck over there. I think this is a reasonably successful sugar beet harvest. If we're lucky, we might find out how good at the end of the year. Anyway, where am I? Truck. And the grain tank's already 80% full and I just got out. Okay, help her go home, and engine off, and beacons off. Okay, you can just sit there for now. I have no idea how it ended up over there in that tree. It's ridiculous. Okay, back to here. Should be good. Okay, what does this look like? Let's run over here. What's that? Oh, that's a broom. Now, if I do... I don't know, maybe I come over here, do the cut in that way. Try and keep on the as north-south as I can get it, or as east-west as I can get it. 6, 7, 8, 9, and again 10. No, I think I want to go a little bit further along, because that's way too close to that tree. But this field really isn't designed for compass point harvesting. That's good. And the other thing about using the helianthus header is the harvest is going a lot quicker. I'm not limited to 7 miles an hour. And yes, wow. I don't think I could have cut that. Well, I could have cut that closer by 1 row. There should be a fairly good yield. Again, our dirt isn't that great. Oh yeah, cut through is not an issue. Fortunately, this is the edge of the map, so we don't have all the way up to the edge of the field, the hedge. Don't skimp on headlands on this field, because the edge of the map is much closer than those hedges, so you don't have the turnaround area you think you have. So I think I'm probably going to run around this right hand section, just do a clockwise run around the outside here. And we'll figure out the next bit. Probably do a cut through just to the other side of the island as my next cut through, obviously after this bit's done. And then we'll look at doing the top half of the field and the bottom half of the field in blocks. Should have turned the other way. Just saying. But really, harvesters have a good, quite exceptional turn radius for their size. Today. So Teenage Osa's got a event this afternoon, go play games in mud, so that's going to be fun. I'm going to need to make sure that I'm good and ready to go before that's due, or before she's due to leave. We've actually had an event on at church this week, so both cars are low on gas. The problem is I work until 5 and then church was starting at 6:30, so that's barely enough time to shower and eat and get there. So it didn't give me enough time to fill up gas, and the gas station we use is Sam's Club because it's cheaper, and they're closed when we were getting home. So that's going to be a thing today. Guess I needn't have bothered taking the truck all the way up to the top left, but we've made it round, so 1, 2, 3, made a good few laps on this without filling up. This is why the value per acre for these sorts of crops is so much lower than sugar beets and wheat and stuff. So it really doesn't take a lot of work for us to get this all done. Okay, that's about 3 there, so I should be able to do this. to hit capacity. Oh, I should probably do this. Just over there. Good. So 21,000. We are going to. It's about 4.5 loads from the harvester to fill this up. There we go. Engine. So I'm seriously giving strong consideration to turning that field back to an arable field. It's as far as the playthrough's concerned, it's never been an arable field. We've always had grass in that field, but when I switched to the farming agency version of the map, that field wasn't planted. However, I think we have enough grass fields. Well, we've just got the number 9 field. But it depends what we can afford with all the crop sales this year. Obviously, I have to buy Field 7 to cater for the sheep expansion. And that's going to be a big deal. Because that's about £600,000 I'm going to need for that. Now, yeah, we got 255 in the bank. And with all the crop that we've pulled in, we should have a good amount of income. But if that's the only big field I can afford this year, I may consider getting some of the smaller fields in the village by the farm, down where the church is. And they're all small grass fields, so we'll limit our grass production to lots of smaller fields. If I do make $1 million, then I'll consider buying one of the big arable fields, and we'll leave 3 as grass for now. I'm really kind of looking at it as I don't need more grass per year, but I do want to buy some more arable fields for the coming year. And if I can't afford to buy an arable field because I'm buying the sheep pasture, the third sheep pasture, then I'm going to have to come up with another solution for increasing the amount of arable crops we make per year. So field 3 might be a solution to that. Also got to check all the farm tracks abilities to get to the fields up in the cluster that we're currently buying. And obviously more fields means more farm storage for crops is going to be needed. And it's not an issue at the moment, and if we keep to one field of sugar beets and one field of potatoes, it's not going to be a problem for a while. But every year that we increase our arable harvest is another year that we're going to get close to hitting the storage limits. Another option is to plant multiple different types of crops. That's a little bit more of a logistical nightmare because you have, if I've got 3 different cereals ready to harvest, I've got to harvest a cereal, I've then got to completely unload it all, regardless of how full the carts are, before I can start the next field with the different crop type. With what we're doing here, it doesn't matter how full the grain cart is and how full the harvester is. I can just drive across that lane and harvest the next sunflower field. So it's effectively a continuous operation. It's not critical, but obviously the more fields you buy, the further they are from the farm, the longer the turnaround is to do that. You have to drive further. And with crop destruction 2.0, it's, you can't really use a helper efficiently, because if the helper ends up with the pipe on the wrong side, you've now got to extract the harvester from where it is in order to empty it. Not always a good deal. Guess I can unload this at the end of this row. Might be able to do a right-hand turn and come around the top of the truck. Like that. All right. So not exactly a full tank, but we were going to make it round again. It does save running the truck over the dirt. Now I have found the original Land Rover that we were using on a website that doesn't have issues. One of the websites I used to use is now coming up as insecure, and my firewall will not let me download from that website. So I was searching out for another Land Rover. I found the Defender 110, so I can reintroduce that onto the farm, as opposed to the pair of Brazilian Land Rovers which are tagged under the Lizard label, which didn't work with the vehicle extension controls. That we're using for this. However, I haven't had a chance to test that Land Rover to see if it actually works for us, so I might have to buy it, test it, and if it works we'll keep it, if it doesn't work we'll sell it. No harm, no foul. Right this minute, not really in need of a truck, so might do that a little bit later. One of the Land Rover that we have been using more recently, I mean, not so common these days, but it was a very common sight in the countryside back in the 70s, 80s when I was younger. It's a short wheelbase pickup, one bench seat or 2 seats, depending. But it's the sort of thing you saw. It's useful for a farmer to drive around in. They can go and drive around their fields and look at stuff and all the things. And obviously these days Land Rover's not so common, and I think in part because they've kind of become a very niche vehicle, very expensive, not really designed as a work truck. They're more designed as a luxury SUV. And their off-road handling has slowly gotten worse due to the conflicting desire to make their road handling better. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still a very capable off-road vehicle, but it's not really a work truck. Oh, well, thank you for the subs there. What's that? 5 tier 1 subs. And people who have been lurking. Lots of dings and lots. Oh, there we go. Yes. Ding. And as I said, thank you for that, Starbuck. Greatly appreciated. Unfortunately, I still haven't set up anything, any perks as a subscriber, except the basic. If I turn it to subscriber only chat, only subscribers, but I don't bother. I don't have enough viewers to warrant doing slow chat mode or anything like that at this time. Maybe if the number of viewers increases, we might end up with problems, and I might need moderators and maybe an IT guy who's more artist based to get some emojis and stuff designed. While I am an IT guy, I'm not really an artist. I'm a technical guy. So it's always a case of, well, this is what I designed as the screen you want to be looking at, and I could be completely off base because I don't do art. But it will work really well because I can write the scripts behind it. Oh, we don't want to make that turn, are we? Okay. Kill that piece of stuff. I write computer programs. I work for a steel distributor. And so I'm actually involved in the sales processing rather than anything else. So we've got quite a big team. So we have people who do financials, people who do the purchasing side. But yeah, I don't do project managing. That's interesting. What's the deal there? That. Oh, that's a Zindizzle logo. That's withered. Okay. Now there has been speculation from the Farm Sim 22. What is it? Cinematic trailer that they did, that there are going to be things that cause the crop to die more so than they are today. Really, base game, all you're looking at is if you don't harvest it soon enough, then the crop will wither. But there's, outside of that, there's nothing that really kills the crop. Weather's fine, everything else. I think there is some level of crop failure included in seasons. So there's a failure to germinate, which I think has something to do with temperatures when planting. And there may be something to do with crop moisture, such that when the crop moisture gets too low, the crop will die and results in a withered crop state for game purposes. That was actually a full load. That's good. I think there's potentially more calamities that are going to be capable of befalling us in Farm Sim 22. I'm not sure if it's going to be switchable like weeds are, or whether it's just going to be a thing, so if you don't get enough water. But if they're going to do that, it would be nice to give us the ability to mitigate that by either having an irrigation system, the big giant pivots that you see in the US, or what is it, the oversized sprayers that are similar to a lawn sprayer but way more effective. But at the moment, obviously, if the crop gets too dry, there's no in-game mechanic that allows you to address that. You're really at the mercy of the weather.